what you need in the building. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing? I'm what you need, watching my channel. If you like what you see, don't forget you can like, share, subscribe. You can also donate via PayPal. The link is in the chat section. All right. The link's in the chat section. Let's go to the chat section. I actually can on the laptop. I can actually chat on the laptop. So I can actually chat with you guys. Whereas if I was using something else, I wouldn't be able to do that. That's where it gets interesting. So we'll see how it goes. With that, I'm watching media right now, watching this channel here. And we're going to get into it. Ron Garcia versus Devin Haney. That's what we're going to be talking about today, primarily, but also we're going to be talking also about uh, some other events that happen around boxing. And so we're going to talk about all of that. Let's get into it. So, first things first, Most High comes first. We always put the Most High first in everything that we do and say. The reason being that the Most High is the great God. The Most High is from which we get all the sustenance. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we're coming from. That's what we're supposed to be doing. That's where we're talking from. And so everything I do, whether it's perfectly or imperfectly, has come from the Most High. In my opinion, I don't know what she does. All right, so man, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney. Huh? We just about 7 days, maybe a little less than 7 days away from this showdown. So, why don't we get into it? Now, this is something where the fight looks like it's going to happen. Doesn't look like Ryan Garcia is going to pull out last minute in the fight. All the training should be done. All the sparring should be done. You know, Devin Haney's already on a flight down to New York. Probably landed in New York by now. Ryan Garcia is going to be down in New York very soon, and they're going to have press conferences and they're going to have interviews, and different people are going to get their opinions on the fight. And regardless of what people are saying about ticket sales, which Ryan Garcia kind of dispelled already, I went and looked on. I went to Ticketmaster first, and I went to several other sites, and I realized that there are still a couple of tickets left, but already coming down to the last week of the fight, there are very few tickets left in the venue. The venue can hold 18,000 people, and they've been selling tickets. You know, I believe, you know, they've sold quite a lot of tickets, and just a few tickets remaining. Now, the thing about it is, what a lot of people don't know about this is, people buy tickets, and then they hold the tickets until, let's say, the week of the fight, and then they resell the tickets at higher prices. So that's what Ryan Garcia is talking about. Some people return tickets, but the tickets are not returned to the company. They resell them to other people. Or you can also return your tickets, which is kind of interesting. You get a refund. And I think a lot of people were buying returnable tickets early on because they weren't sure if Ryan Garcia was going to go through with this fight. You know, but Ryan has stuck to his guns and he's stuck to his word so far. You know, boxing's a thing you just never know, right? But he's kept his word so far. And so it looks like we're looking at Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia for three. Let me just say that. Let me put it out there for everybody out there. I see Ryan Garcia is in shape. The dude looks sharp. He looks really good. When we see him on pads or sparring or anything, I've seen any video footage of him training physically, technically speaking. He looks sharp. He looks good. I've seen him mostly on the offensive though. I haven't seen him really do defense. So we don't know how far his defense has come. I'm sure he's been working on his defense with Derek James. I see him keeping his hand up and stuff. Um, for return fire and stuff like that. But when you get into an actual fight, some of that goes out the window. And sparring is not an actual fight with 8 ounce gloves. But having said that, Ryan looks good. He looks good. He looks sharp. He looks fast. He looks strong. He's big. He's a big dude. He looks strong. He looks cut. He looks in great shape. Um, the question everybody has is, because he's been spending so much time trying to promote this fight, like George Kambosos, is it going to be all mentally there? Ryan did the heavy lifting. Ryan and Bill Haney did the heavy lifting when it comes to promoting this fight. Devin Haney didn't do much. Well, actually, Devin Haney did do a lot. He went on to various YouTube podcasts and even major podcasts like ESPN. So Devin Haney and Ryan, they did promote the fight by going to extensive platforms and so on. But Bill Haney pretty much, Bill kind of carried the heavy lifting for Devin. Devin was mostly boxing and he do his interviews. Ryan has been promoting the crap out of this fight in so many different ways. Ryan, has been airing out things that was on his mind concerning child trafficking and mistreatment, the abuse, the genocide of children. Talking about he's referring to Sound of freedom, and how the industry is exploiting people, and also very powerful people in the world exploit children and their innocence. And I think these are very, very potent points. Don't get me wrong, but Ryan, you should be focused on the fight. And I get that Ryan was just doing everything else. And remember, you're taking this energy that you have. Yes, you may be doing multiple different things, but you really want to stay focused on one opponent. You want to stay focused on Devin Haney. One thing about Floyd, he never looked past no opponent. He tried to stay razor focused on whatever it was he was doing. And Devin Haney did a better job of staying razor focused on Ryan Garcia and the fight he has coming up than Ryan Garcia did. And I think that is going to be the significant difference in this fight. Bearing that in mind, there's also another thing that I think is going to be significant. And don't get me wrong, Ryan he's doing what he needs to do, to put up a hell of a fight for Devin Haney. I believe that. Hands down, I don't disagree with none of that. I think Ryan's going to come much better than he came against Tank because, one, he's going to tighten the defense. He knows work on that. And two, he's going to be bigger, stronger, faster, quicker. He's going to be in peak physical condition. You can tell that, he didn't slack off when it comes to physically speaking and even technically speaking, knowledge-wise speaking, he's sharpening up his game. So we expect a hell of a fight between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. This is going to be a great fight. It's going to be a great treat for fight fans. You guys, if you don't have your pay-per-view from DAZN, get that pay-per-view. If you don't have a subscription from DAZN, if you don't have the money to have a subscription from DAZN, then couple up with a couple other people, and put together some money. And you guys subscribe to DAZN, and then purchase the fight. Because I'm telling you, man, this is a fight I can't believe I'm promoting it. But this is a fight you don't want to miss. As much as Devin Haney has a lot of advantages over Ryan Garcia, he plays better competition, much more razor focus. His hard work and dedication is unparalleled. Dude don't drink, don't smoke, none of that. He does tattoo himself though, which is done, and boys is, which is done as well. But he don't drink, he don't smoke. As far as we know, at least as far as we know, he doesn't do that. Consummate professional, work ethic on point. So Devin Haney does everything possible he can to be dedicated to the sport of boxing. Now, Ryan Garcia, he's been trying to do the sport of boxing. He's also trying to be, that big voice on social media. He's trying to become a social media star. He's also invested in many other businesses and ventures that he's in. And he kind of reminds me of, again, Rolly Romero, Teofimo Lopez, Adrian Broner. I think that, all of these guys are borrowing a page out of AB's book. AB wanted to be an entertainer and at the same time wanted to be a boxer. And I feel like Ryan is taking a page out of that. The thing about it is, in boxing, you're only as entertaining as you can back up your talk. When you can't back up what you say, people consider you a clown. And so Ryan has a couple of things going into this fight that work against him. One is he was stopped by Tank. Now, the Tank Ryan Garcia fight, going into it, as much as a lot of us felt that Ryan was over his head because he hadn't got the developmental process and developmental fights to face Tank. He was undefeated. And he felt like a wild card in the sense that he felt like, oh yeah, if he catches Tank, And he did catch Tank. He jumped on Tank and he was going at Tank. And then the second round, Tank dropped him. And he got a hell. He didn't get buzzed. He wasn't on Queer Street for a while. No, got back up and started fighting again. I think Ryan though became more hesitant after Tank hurt it. Be that as it may, he did quit in that fight. He could have gone on, and he decided not to go on. And that, Victor Ortiz was haunted by the quitting when he quit against Marcus Maidana. And this could come back to bite Ryan Garcia just like that Devin Haney puts him in a position where he has to decide if he wants to go on or if he wants to quit, And we're going to see, because I was listening to Fernando Vargas interview with his sons, where, Ryan actually, he crashed that party. And of course, his brother's facing, I believe, is one of the Vargases. I think it's Emilio, one of them, anyway. And in response to that, the Vargases are saying, man, bro, you quit. You quit when you could have gone ahead. And, once you quit, it's hard for you not to quit again. So Ryan has a lot of tools in this fight coming back against Devin Haney. He had one fight against Oscar Duarte. He turned his back on Oscar Duarte. When he first confronted Devin Haney, he turned his back on Devin Haney. It feels like this guy, if you push him hard enough, if you push him to a certain point, a certain brink, he's going to quit. And that's what we're about to find out. Is Ryan Garcia about that work, or is he going to quit again when the going gets super tough? We know Ryan Garcia is tough. We know he's physically tough. We know he's physically strong. He got put down by Tank the first time in the second round of his fight with Tank. Got right back up and started fighting. But the question is, when Tank really started to bring on the heat, when Tank was starting to crash him, when Tank was starting to counter him, and he got hit with that body shot, he said it was a good body shot, but he said himself that he could have gotten up, and he did. So my question to Ryan Garcia is, when placed in a similar position, which Devin Haney will place him in that similar position, okay? Will Ryan Garcia bite down and fight through it? Is Ryan Garcia truly willing to go out on his shield if he has to? The situation becomes one in which he's taking a lot of punishment. Will he grit his teeth and fight through it? That is the question that we want to know. We know that Ryan Garcia's had a lot of back and forth fights with Devin Haney in the amateurs. And so, personally speaking, I think this is going to be the toughest fight for Ryan Garcia. This might be the toughest fight of his life. He already esteems Devin Haney very highly. He said, he's going to Devin Haney for the last guy he faced after he faced all the other guys. Well, he's facing Devin Haney now. And I don't think he's ready for it, mentally particularly. I don't think he's mentally ready for it. I think a lot of his antics and shenanigans are the result of him realizing this was it. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is the guy that he did not want to face. He didn't want to face. He really didn't want to face this dude. And there's a lot of guys in 140, 135, no matter what shenanigans they say, whether it's Shakur Stevenson, whether it's Teofimo Lopez, whether it's Gervonta Tank Davis, whether it's Pitbull Cruz, whether it's Subriel Matias, these guys ain't looking for that smoke with Devin. And y'all know this. Y'all know they don't want that smoke with Devin. And I'm not trying to be somebody who's like Devin's a boogeyman or anything like that. I'm not even trying to, hype up Devin like that. It's just what it is. Devin has tried to make fight with Subriel Matias. Devin has actually tried to make fight with Teofimo Lopez for years. Devin has tried to make a fight with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was Devin Haney's mandatory, and Ryan Garcia abdicated his interim title so that he wouldn't face Devin Haney. We all know this. This is public information. Shakur Stevenson, the only guy to offer Shakur Stevenson a fight, the only guy is Devin Haney. And what does Shakur say? 50-50. Shakur says, 50-50 or nothing. Everybody behaving weird once you mention the name Devin Haney. We had Richardson Hitchens talking all kinds of crazy stuff. Almost lost his fight with his opponent just because he didn't bring up Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Diesel says Ryan calling out Bud now. Ryan cashing himself out. Shout out to Diesel in the building. All right. Shakur not getting no 50-50, says Diesel. Well, probably down the road, depends on what Shakur do. I'm pretty sure Shakur is going to have to face Devin Haney either at welterweight or at super welterweight because both of them big enough to go up to those weight classes. Um, um, you know, uh, Shakur is a listen. I'm not gonna pretend like that. I don't do this. Shakur is an excellent boxer, excellent fighter, excellent fighter. All right, so I'm not even gonna pretend like Shakur. I'm not gonna do that to Shakur. The thing is, the approach that Shakur is having, the way how he's behaving, is less than stellar, in my opinion. Okay, maybe he's trying to ruffle the crowd. Maybe he's trying to become public enemy number one. Maybe he's trying to play the role of the villain. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's not working because of all the opponents Shakur could face. He goes and face seriously Frank Martin's leftovers. Like really, Haratulian. Look, he said top rank. And Shakur be making excuses all kind of how every single way. He be talking funny when it comes to Devin. Okay, because guess what? Devin Haney, whether y'all like it or not, y'all talk about he don't have no punching power and all kinds of rubbish. But ain't nobody just excited to go face Devin Haney. Ain't nobody calling Devin Haney out like that. Ain't nobody really wanting that work. Nobody really want to take up the offers that Devin Haney's giving. Okay, ain't nobody out there trying to do that. So when you see Ryan Garcia behaving weird, like he's never behaved before in his life, he's actually going off the rails. It's because he's fighting himself. He's fighting himself so he can step in that ring against Devin Haney. He knows he's over his head in this fight. He knows this. So here's what this fight is. And I'm excited to see this fight for several different reasons. Because one of the things that I can tell you about Ryan Garcia is he's sharp and he's fast. All right? Jesus says Devin Haney fights behind an educated jab. Yeah, of many. There's so many things to deal with when you're dealing with Devin Haney. You're dealing with his footwork. You're dealing with him changing distance and range. He don't stay at one range. He comes inside and outside. He's just on the periphery of the pocket. Then you have to deal with the pivot work. Okay? Then you got to deal with his untelegraphed attacks. He can go body, he could go head. He could go body to head. He could double up the jab, he could double up the right hand because he leads with either hand. I mean, the things that Devin Haney do in that ring, plus he's learned, now you got to grapple on the inside. Lomachenko showed those little tricks, those little wrinkles. Shout out to Diesel in the building having a conversation with me. So, all I'm saying is, I'm not the biggest Devin Haney fan. Actually, I like Bud. I also like Dimitri Bivol. Those are more of my favorite fighters than Devin Haney at this point in time. But Devin Haney does the fundamentals, the basics, and then he has all these little wrinkles inside of there that make it very, very difficult to fight. Okay, I've talked about these fighters before. Dimitri Bivol, Alexander Usyk. Everybody talking about Fury gonna beat Usyk. I don't see it. I mean, Usyk's funny. I saw his beach video. It was hilarious. Alexander Usyk baby oiling himself down and running on the beach, trying to be sexy man. And then he was doing this foot lift thing, which is just hilarious. The dude is a comic. He's funny. He's funny. I'm not gonna lie to that. Bill Haney's funny too. But guys like that, Terrence Crawford, Shakur Stevenson, because ain't nobody just jumping up and down saying, I want Shakur. Ain't nobody really saying that out there. All right. So I'm not doing like Shakur's not a guy that's been ducked. Okay. However, there have been guys who've expressed their desire to face Shakur, especially of recent times, and he has not stepped up to the plate to face him. All right. Devin Haney made it on. Raymond Muratala, uh, 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 Garcia, Mikey Garcia's older brother. This man. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. Right, Mikey Garcia's older brother is the manager of Raymond Muratala. Muratala wanted that fight with Shakur. Shakur's lying, saying he never heard about Muratala. Come on, Shakur, stop that. Stop capping, bro. Just stop the cap. We're tired of it. You know, as fight fans, we're tired of people capping up and down. And you being the cap king for the, you know, as Edwin De Los Santos said, you like the Shakira Twitterson. You be tweeting all kinds of whack stuff that don't make no sense, contradicting yourself. Shakur is a boring counterpuncher with no power, no charisma. Okay, so I'm gonna correct you on that, Peter. I'm gonna correct you on that. Shakur does have power. If you remember the fight between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, Oscar Valdez is a top-rated fighter with a top-rated chin. Shakur dropped him. If you do remember that fight, he check hooked him and he dropped him into the ropes. Shakur does have power. He's a sharp boxer. He's not a one-punch hitter quitter like Evan. He's not a one-punch hitter quitter. But he's a sharp boxer. Another thing about Shakur, his fights are not boring. I've seen Shakur walk down guys and beat them up. Okay. The thing with Shakur is sometimes he moves excessively. Like the Edwin De Los Santos fight, he couldn't gauge. He couldn't figure out how to deal with Edwin. So he was basically leaping backwards. Right. Shakur's in the south on the southpaw. So Shakur's here with Edwin De Los Santos. Instead of taking a half step back like this, a half step back on the pivot, he would leap, literally leap backwards. He would leap backwards, right? And to me, personally speaking, if you got to leap backwards to get out of the way of a guy, I know the guy's quick. I know he's throwing double and triple jabs coming in. But if you got to leap all the way back instead of pass a step back this way, and I know Edwards coming off of he's coming off the ankle because he's an orthodox fighter, right? So he's double jabbing in, but he's double jabbing in off an ankle. So if I start off here, so I'm here, say I'm facing you here, right? Well, I wouldn't be. Well, I'm facing you, but I'm not gonna come at you this way, right? I'm gonna come at you off an angle like this, right? So he's uh he's shout out to Jimmy Morales, salute straight out of Puerto Rico. Shout out to the Puerto Rico audience in the building. Shakur and Haney both are boring boxers. Shakur is half Puerto Rican. And Shakur ain't boring, man. I like Shakur. I like what he does. The thing with Shakur, there are two things I don't like about him. Right? He does just enough to win. So sometimes Shakur should step on the dial, or he should just stop repeating the same things he do. If he finds that something he's doing is effective, he just stays with that, and it's boring. Right? It's like Richardson Hitchens versus Jose Zepeda. Hitchens did just what he needed to do, and he wouldn't step on the dial. And he did do damage to Zepeda, but he's not as dynamic as Devin Haney. Devin Haney's footwork, y'all, you can't underestimate Devin Haney's footwork. His footwork is crazy. His footwork and his feinting is crazy. And Devin Haney's more aggressive. Devin Haney's now, uh, the last, let me see, since the second Cambosos fight, actually, Jorge Linares was the first fight when he took it to Jorge Linares. He was fighting Jorge Linares on the inside. He was taking the Jorge Linares, and he got caught in the 10th round. He was taking it to Jorge. He was whooping Jorge. I mean, he was beating Jorge Linares' ass, right? He was walking him down, right? In the second Cambosos fight, not the first one, the second Cambosos fight, Devin Haney was taking the fight to Cambosos, and he was busting up Cambosos' face. And we thought he was going to stop Cambosos, right? Um, in the Vasily Lomachenko fight, Devin Haney could have boxed Vasily Lomachenko. Could have moved all around the ring, boxing, pick him off. He didn't. He took the fight to Lomachenko, and he was literally blasting Lomachenko with a lot of body shots. He was kicking him with a lot of body shots. And then with the Regis Program fight, again, he didn't box all around the ring. He took the fight to Regis Program. They fought mostly in the center of the ring. Um, and Devin Haney did his thing. Jamie Morales says, Mateus is the real boogeyman at 140, and that's that. Puerto Rico. Represent, brother. I understand. You love your boy, Mateus, and you see him as a boogeyman. All right, respect to you on that. I mean, he's still yet to prove himself as a boogeyman, but I do get what you're saying. People are not enthusiastic. Like Richardson Hitchens is not enthusiastic about facing Silvio Mateus. You know what I mean? You know, because they see what he's been doing to people. So I get it. He is ducked. Mateus is ducked by some fighters. He is. You know, but I'm telling you right now, Teofimo Lopez ain't afraid of him. Teofimo Lopez looking at Silvio Mateus like food. Like food. Trust me. That's a guy Teofimo Lopez knows he can beat. You know what I mean? So, you know, Super Mateus is a bad boy. Let's not even pretend like he's not. He's got iron will. He's a very tough guy. He can take some punches to the body. He does tense up his body to absorb some of those punches. He does roll and ride some punches, but he gets hit flush with a lot of punches. But he's tough. I give you that. He cuts off the ring like a mother. When he's coming for you, he's coming for you. He comes for you smart. You throw combinations in between your shots where your defense is open. I dig it. I dig what Super Mateus does. Don't get it twisted. I respect the craft. I understand it's a tough fight for anybody because he's not just going to go away like that. You're not just going to stop him. And he is determined to do what he has to do. He understands his game. His game is to fit into the slots, fit into the slots, fit into the slots. You know what I'm saying? Fit into the slots. You know what I'm saying? Pick you apart, and then just crash your ass. I get it. He's gonna be in front of you all night. He's gonna bring in the heat all night, all night. If you make it to 12 rounds, it's gonna be 10, 12 grueling rounds, generally speaking, right? Work that body like a mother, right? Look for all the openings. I get what Super Mateus is. I would say he's a much more better version than an Antonio Margarito or Paul Williams or he got kind of got that Winky Wright defense. You know that tough guard, real tight guard. You know, so he can take a lot of shots. You know, and he's tough. He's strong. You know, so don't get me. Don't. But let me just let you guys know that I am not here to diminish what Super Mateus is. I'm just saying, that there are certain fighters out here who I believe will beat, right? And he ain't really, he ain't anxious. He ain't super excited to get in the ring with those guys. That's the truth, right? And it's not, so you guys understand, it's not that he's physically afraid of anybody. Fighters love to fight. But it's that he does not feel confident enough to get in the ring and share that ring with that person and get the victory. He's not there yet, right? Triple G was a bad boy too. Okay, Triple G used to get hit too. He had underrated defense, right? So I'm not here to say that what Super Mateus brings to the table. Listen, I got Super Mateus over Liam Parrow. Now Liam Parrow's a bad boy. Liam Parrow, if y'all go and watch Liam Parrow's track record, and his left hand is he knocks people out with his left hand. Okay, but I still got Super Mateus over Liam Parrow because Liam Parrow, if Liam Parrow goes there trying to fight fire with fire, like how he's talking, he's going to lose. He's going to lose. You can't straight up and down fight Super Mateus. That's just not the way to fight him, right? You're not going to win that fight. Teofimo Lopez is a master of range. He knows all these little tricks, all these little veteran moves. He knows how to cut, to move to the side, to shift off to the side, to step around. I got Teofimo Lopez has quick hands, even though he's kind of flat-footed at times, right? He's sharp, he's fast, he's quick twitch. So Teofimo Lopez will be carving up Super Mateus off of angles, okay? He's not going to stand directly in front of Super Mateus. You dig? So that's why I said Devin Haney is another story. He's like a jigsaw puzzle. Okay? Think of it this way. Subriel Mateus against a 140-pound Vasily Lomachenko. Lomachenko don't stand in front of you. He's constantly moving around. Constantly turning. But Devin Haney beat Lomachenko. How do you do it? He had to move around too. He had to move around. The footwork. I can't say it enough. You know, there's another guy that gives Super Mateus problems? Jermaine Ortiz. He ain't got the power, though. He has to work on his power. You have to climb past the 140 a little bit more. You got to get a little more power. But Devin Haney, to get Super Mateus respect, he's not just going to walk through the shots that Devin Haney got. RJ Jenkins said, yo, shout out RJ Jenkins in the building. Jimmy Morales says Tank is the best at 135. I mean, let me put it to you this. I got respect for what you're saying. This Tank is, again, an incredible boxer. I didn't say fighter. I said boxer. Man can box. He got the mean streak in him, but he could box at the same time. You know what I mean? I was just recently looking at Tank versus Pitbull Cruz, and I saw Tank was taking over this fight slowly. I didn't realize it until I looked back at it, and all the little nuances. That double left hand he was throwing, and he started tagging Cruz with either hand, and he was picking him. At first, he wasn't using a lot of power; he was just touching him, you know. And it was amazing what Tank was doing before he hurt his hand in round 10. He hurt his hand. He winced in round 10, and then he had to kind of fudge it as he was going forward. And he came back to the corner. I remember Coach Calvin said, "You don't have to tell me. I know. Just keep on popping him with the jab, you know, and step around him." So Tank's a hell of a fighter. Nobody. I never disagree with what Tank is. Okay, I'm just saying you can't call yourself the best at 135 if you don't face the best at 135. You get what I'm saying? Who's the best at 135 right now? Well, everybody's trying to figure that out, right? Shakur's in the mix, but he ain't faced nobody yet. He faced Edwin, but he didn't really face no champion at 135 yet, or former world champion, right? Then you got Tank. Tank has faced some really solid fighters. Frank Martin's going to be another solid fighter. We can talk about Tank versus Frank Martin as well. You know, that's a good fight as well. But once again, you can't say who's the best and you haven't faced the best. So listen, boxing's about what you do. It's not about what you say. It's not about how you look. It's about what you do. And you can't be called the best and you haven't faced the best. And we see the great attributes in Tank. But until he steps up to the plate and beats one of these world champions, whether it's Shakur Stevenson, whether it's the winner of Lomachenko and Kambosos, or whether it's the winner of Navarrete and whoever he's facing, you can't call yourself the best. No matter what, now his trainer and his camp supposed to say they're the best, right? He's supposed to say he's the best. But until you match them up and you put them together, you can't say you're the best. Now, Devin Haney could have claimed he was the best lightweight. Why? Because he faced the best lightweight at the time, which was Kambosos, who beat Teofimo Lopez, who beat Lomachenko. Right? Teofimo Lopez has a claim right now to being the best at 140 because he beat Josh Taylor, who was the lineal champion, who also was undisputed. Devin Haney can claim he's the best at 140 because he beat Regis Prograis, who, when Teofimo Lopez retired, became the number one 140 pounder in the division. But still, it's unresolved because until Teofimo Lopez faces Devin Haney, we really know for sure the best versus the best. There's a way for it to be undisputable, and that is by Devin Haney beating all the champs in 140, or Teofimo Lopez beating all the champs at 140. But Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney, when Teofimo Lopez faces Devin Haney, that would be Teofimo Lopez's toughest fight. Why? Because we saw it with Jermaine Ortiz, we saw it with Sandor Martin, we saw that when Teofimo Lopez fights guys who know what they're doing in that ring, he loses. He didn't officially lose, but he loses. He has a hard time with that style, right? And we know that also because when he dealt with the counterpuncher named George Kambosos, who is going to be facing Vasily Lomachenko, I believe it's June or May, sometime May, June this year, we saw, what did we see? We saw that Teofimo Lopez had problems. He got knocked down by Kambosos. Came back later on in the fight. Knocked down Kambosos, but Kambosos came back in the fight and was whooping his ass and finished strong. Right? So people talk about Teofimo Lawson's fights to the level of his opposition. No. That's not true at all. He has a difficulty with guys who know what they're doing in that ring. That's the truth. Because Teofimo Lopez has difficulty cutting off the ring. Teofimo Lopez has difficulty with fighters with good footwork. And I'm not talking about great footwork. I'm talking about good footwork. You know how to establish range through the distance and how to circle the ring. They understand the space in there. They understand the real estate. RJ Jenkins says, I don't think, unfortunately, guys, I can't. Okay. RJ Jenkins says, I think Gary Russell, I think you mean Gary Russell. Are you talking about Gary Antoine Russell? I think that Gary Russell beats Silvio Mateus. Okay. So I was actually on a panel with some coaches who generally are on another platform, but I so happened to subscribe to this coach. So they were coaches. I was not a coach, okay? And they actually brought this up. Gary Russell Jr., Gary Antoine Russell Jr. versus Silvio Mateus. Now, one coach actually said that Gary Russell Jr., even with the experience he has, was to face Silvio Mateus, he probably might even stop him. Right? That's what the dude was saying. And the other coaches were not agreeing with him. And I was just making the points that Gary Antoine Russell or Gary Russell Jr., you know, he's a bad boy. He ain't got fights recently, so he's rusty. He hasn't fought in almost over a year. So that would be an interesting fight if he could get a couple of tune-ups. Yes, I do agree that Gary Russell Jr., it would be a hell of a fight. Now, one coach, he was like, I could see Gary winning, I could see him a path to winning, but I don't know if he stops Silvio Mateus. Another coach was saying, you know, Gary ain't fought in a while, and the other thing about Gary is he's hungry, no doubt about it. He got the start to beat Mateus, no doubt about that. But the question is, he would still have to withstand that pressure. When Mateus cuts off the ring, people cutting off the ring, keep cutting off. Because, you know, Gary can do several different things. Gary can do several different styles of fighting, right? So I would love to, you know, I haven't seen Gary Antoine Russell Jr. in a while. I've always been excited to see him fight fights because, you know, he has that mean streak in him. He's vicious, you know, and, you know, he gets the job done. Of course, the last opponent Gary Antoine Russell faced, if I'm not mistaken, I recently saw an interview with Gary Antoine Russell Jr. The most recent fight was, you guys remind me, what was the most recent fight that Gary Antoine Russell was in? Hold on, I'm gonna get it on my phone. Gary's a bad boy. We always knew that. Okay, so he had a recent fight, August 2023. I didn't know this. Which is in Maryland. He fought a guy named Kent Cruz. I guess it was a tuna fight. He knocked him out in the first round. He knocked him out. He knocked him out within 20 seconds of the first round. Oh yeah, the last guy he stopped was he stopped Victor Pistola and he stopped Francis Bartholomew. Yeah, he stopped everybody. You know what I mean? Gary's a bad boy, but you know he's got boxing skills. Like it's not just he's bad. If you don't belong in the ring, he's gonna get you out of there. You know what I mean? But Gary's Gary's also, you know, a good boxer, and that's the thing. I think you have to have those angles. You have to be able to, you know, move around the ring a certain way against a guy that's so strong and super Mateus. You know, you use your jab. You know, you use well, he'd be a southpaw, so you use the lead left at times. You use his jab at certain times, um, and you measure out Super Mateus. You gotta out jab Super Mateus. You gotta be peppering the jabs to the head and to the body. He does protect the front really good, so you gotta open up the side. So you gotta kind of hook him a lot. You gotta hook him up to land, and you have to set him up for the knockout. I think Gary's a guy smart enough, his IQ smart enough to set him up for a knockout chance. So that would be a very interesting fight, no doubt about it. And Gary possibly could knock him out, but I don't think so. I think he needs more experience. But it'd be a good fight, no doubt about it. Demo Gaming in the building. He says, "Good day to you, my brother. Hope I'm not too late. I'm just tuning in." Demo Gaming in the building. Uh, hey man, it's good to see you, and I'm happy to have you on this stream right now. We're really talking about Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, but we're talking about how difficult Devin Haney is to fight because he has all these different skill sets and tools. But in addition, Ryan Garcia is special in the sense that he got that speed, the quickness. He also got the sharpness. He's very sharp as a fighter. I think his defense, though, needs to be tightened up a lot more. And hopefully Derek James was able to help him tighten up a couple things. I saw Ryan working more on his offense, more on the right hands, combinations. I see him slipping shots, getting out the way of shots, blocking certain shots, trying to dictate with the jab. So I've been watching what Ryan is doing, more of what he did in the amateurs. Derek was trying to get him back to doing. Um, and he's bigger. He's a hell of a lot stronger. You can see he's a lot stronger. So he gonna be cracking. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good fight. Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia is gonna be a good fight. Um, you know, uh, Tio has never been. Jimmy Morales says Tio has never been with a real pressure fighter like Matias and has an iron shin and strong will. Well, you know what I would say about that? I would say Tio has actually fought a couple of those kinds of fighters. He's fought a couple of those kinds of fighters in his career. But Mateus does have a hell of a chin, and can take punches. So maybe Tio's money punch might knock out Super Mateus, you know. But Tio does catch you with punches you don't see. He catches you in trades. Tio's defense is not the greatest defense in the world, so that really could play into Super Mateus' hand. And Mateus is a tall, long kind of guy with long arms. He's shortening up and shortening the shot, but he's a tall, long guy. So he might be able to catch Tio with the overhand right, which Tio is open for. Like Tio is vulnerable to the overhand right. So you never know. You might be right about some of the stuff, but I do think Tio at 140, he's big, he's strong, he's settling into the weight. Did he stop anybody at 140? I don't think he stopped anybody. I think he stopped one person at 140. So I don't know how. I'm sure Tio still has power, but I don't know how that Mateus fight will really shape out. Yeah, yeah. Now that you mentioned those things, excuse me. Now that you mentioned those things, I don't really know how it would shape up. But it is a hell of a fight for Tiffany Lopez. Let me see what else you guys say. I live where Mateus lived, and still, because his mom still lived there, the same hood. He got shot 3 times, and a very dangerous hood. There's a cartel there, and they also killed someone's found dead. So that's where he gets that mental toughness from. God damn. Yeah, you know, Terrence Crawford versus Super Mateus would be a hell of a fight because Mateus could take a punch. But again, Crawford's kind of bad. But I think Crawford got shot in his head, if I'm not mistaken. Jimmy Morales says Mateus served 2 years in prison, and that's why he's mentally tough. Man, this motherfucker really is bad. He really is a bad guy. Well, that explains everything. So Mateus basically ain't afraid to die. Because he's been there, done that. I get you. I got you. So that's why he's so tough as well. That would explain it. It would explain everything, Jimmy Morales. That's good nuggets right there. Now all you need to do is learn how to box a little bit better and get a little bit tighter defense, and you'd be a bad boy. You know what I mean? Because he cuts off the ring really bad. I mean, he cuts off the ring he does it as well as almost anybody who can cut off the ring. He'll close that spacing on you and he'll drown you, he'll strangle you, suffocate you. You know what I mean? You will have to fight him at some point in the fight. Um, so it's interesting. Well, Super Mateus is a hell of a fighter. I've said that before. Like, he just looking for names to put on his resume. Obviously, the big names are not really interested in him like that. Um, and that's why, I haven't heard Pitbull. I think Pitbull Cruz was open to the notion of Mateus fighting Mateus. I'm going to tell you this, though. Cruz versus Mateus is a hell of a fight. I'm not going to lie about that. But I'm getting distracted. So my focus is really on Ryan Garcia versus Devin. Now, why I wanted to talk about this fight now not later down during the week when it gets really, it would be a super hot topic, I'm sure. It's because of a number of different things, okay? Now, most people from the jump said Devin Haney would beat Ryan Garcia. And usually your first notion of the fight is probably the ground, right? Your first, how you feel about the fight, probably the ground. However, how Devin Haney beats Ryan Garcia, how Ryan Garcia performs in this fight, the how is what really intrigues me even more. Yes, the outcome, we all mostly believe, boxing is a thing where it's unpredictable. Anything could happen in boxing. But barring that, I think most people believe Devin Haney is going to beat Ryan Garcia, whether it's by stoppage, whether it's by points, or whether it's by technical knockout, technical decision, because of a headbutt or something. Most people believe that's what's going to happen. Now, having said that, ladies and gentlemen, this fight's going to be fireworks. Okay? It's going to be fireworks. I haven't seen a single Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney fight, amateur in the amateurs, that wasn't fireworks. Okay? So it's going to be a fireworks fight. It's going to be hella entertaining. Um, if I'm not mistaken, I want to see what the undercard is. I don't think the undercard's that much. If I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, hold on one second. I want to event. I don't want to go. Okay, okay. So anyway, all right. So the event anyway, between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia is going to be at the Barclays, as you know, August 20th, which is next week Saturday, and it's going to start at 4:30, right? Uh, Jimmy Morales says, I think Haney has a slight chance to beat Ryan, but if Ryan catches him with a strong left hook, he could stop him. Yeah, I mean, Ryan got power. Nobody's questioning that. He got power. He got power in his right hand and in his left hook, and in his right uppercut, and he got a nice solid stiff jab. Right. So Ryan got some tools. It's not just the left hook. He's got a nice straight right hand. He has a looping right hand. He has a right uppercut. That's really, you got to look out for that. Besides the left hook, you know what I mean? Um, Ryan got some tools, man. Ryan got some tools. He's quick. He's very quick. He's sharp. He's fast. He was more flat-footed when he's fighting other fights, but he's worked on his footwork. He's gotten lighter on his feet. So all of those things are good things. Do I think Haney has a slight chance to beat Ryan? No, I think he has a solid chance of beating Ryan Garcia. Very, very solid chance. Not slight at all. But Jimmy Morales, I think that see, I'll say this. I'll say this, Jimmy Morales, so that I can express my opinion, and maybe you will understand this. When you face a certain level of opponent and pass that level, think of it like one guy passing level 9 or level 10 of a video game, facing a guy who has gotten past level 7. The guy who's passed level 9 or level 10 has been 3 levels above the other guy. He's got all that experience. So if he was to start at level 7 with the guy who's at level 7 that hasn't passed level 7, he probably move up to 8, 9, 10 easier because he's been there. Whereas the guy at level 7, he didn't get past level 7. So he don't know. He has to push himself beyond to do something he never did before, and that's what makes this fight what it is. Devin Haney's been at the top and he's conquered the top. Ryan's been to the top. Hold on 1 second. Right, we got a little disturbance in the road. Like I said before, I'm not in a studio. I'm inside of a house. So anyway, yeah. So there's levels to the sport of boxing, and this is a lot of people don't. So even if you have tools, the opposition that pushed you, and remember, boxing, you learn your knowledge by going into a professional ring, a professional fight. It's not sparring is cool and everything, but you really learn when you go into with the 8 ounce gloves and everything, right? Because the 8 ounce gloves hit different. You know, they're smaller, so they can fit into spaces better, etc., etc., etc. Right? So Ryan got experience at a certain level, and he still didn't pass that level. He never conquered the level of Tank. But Devin Haney could say he conquered the level of Tank because he beat Lomachenko. You understand? Not only did he beat Lomachenko, who is Ryan Garcia faced as a world champion aside from Gervonta Tank Davis? And I'm talking about former world champion. When I say world champion, I'm not talking about the guys, the paper champions who have the secondary titles, you know, like the WBA regular. No, I'm talking about real champions. Like who did he face that was a former world champion even? Right? You can't even say what's the kid's name? I'll tell you. See, Ryan never faced a former world champion. The only guy he faced, Javier Fortuna, beat. By the way, beat. Javier Fortuna wasn't a real champion. He was a regular world champion. You know, Davis was a world champion. Yeah, but he didn't beat Davis. So he never fought any world champions and beat them. Devin Haney has not only fought world champions and beat them, he fought the best world champions and beat them in Kambosos, in Lomachenko. And even though this guy was a former world champion and he was on top of the game once upon a time, a lineal champion at that, in Jorge Linares, he got the experience from facing that guy. That was a level he just crossed. He faced Jojo Diaz, former IBF world champion. So when you talk about championship experience, Ryan don't know what that is. He's never been on that level. And when he stepped when he stepped up to championship level as a contender, he lost. And he lost like quitting. Let me say that again. It's an important point. He lost by quitting. So he has an uphill battle mentally, not physically. Physically, he looks great. He's in great shape. He has knowledge in his head of what to do and all of that. It's not going. That's not going to be the struggle for him. And as we all know, boxing is 90% mental, 10% physical. Demo Gaming says, I just can't take Ryan serious. Him and Adrian Broner are alike. They would be great fighters if they were more focused and dedicated to the sport. I'm not saying that Ryan isn't dedicated to boxing to some degree. I think his focus, though, is all over the place. I wouldn't say he's as bad as Adrian Broner, but his focus. Rolly Romero, same thing. Rolly Romero ain't as focused. See, when you're trying to smack talk and junk talk, it got to be based in facts. You look at Clarissa Shield. When she trash talking, she's trash talking based on facts. When Mayweather used to trash talk, he would trash talk based on facts. In other words, and this is very important, and Richardson Hitchens and all these young fighters, support Stevens, all these young fighters, Rolly Romero, etc., take this to the bank and keep it mentally in the back of your head. As much as you want to be entertaining, you got to back up whatever you say. It got to be backed up, right? Terrence Crawford, when he talked to smack, he meaning exactly what he said. When Errol Spence went up to Kell Brooks' country, and he and Derek James were talking, they were talking facts. They wasn't talking. They wasn't talking stuff they couldn't back up. And a lot of fighters now are cocky. And what I mean by cocky, you talking that stuff like you's that dude. But when we go in the ring, we see you not that dude. So everything you were just saying was just talk. That's being cocky. Confidence is when you talk something that's backed up by facts. Backed up by facts. Which is a hitch and lie. He never faced a former world champion. And he never faced a world champion. He never has. But he's talking about, oh, I faced world champions. He just quoted Floyd Mayweather. He just imitated Floyd Mayweather. He had Floyd Mayweather imitation. He's not his own person. He's not authentic. That's the other thing. You got to be authentic. If this is who you are, this is who you are. Denver Gaming says, I love Dev over Ryan by decision. Easy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to a decision, though. I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. I think Ryan's going to put up a great fight. Don't get it twisted. I think Ryan's going to do well. Well enough that people want to see him again. Right? He's going to probably choke it up to he wasn't ready for the level. He's still preparing for this big stage. He's gonna say some excuse. But at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia was never ready for this level. He wasn't ready for Tank, and he wasn't ready for Devin Haney. But he decided he was going about doing it, so he's doing it. You know what I mean? He's taking on something that's a challenge for him, I guess. And we'll see how far he can go. Now, anything can happen in boxing. Ryan could just suddenly knock out Devin Haney and they could have tremendous success. It could happen. I mean, it's boxing, right? But the likelihood of that happening is very small. I mean, it's small, in my opinion. And I think any true boxing fan, look at I'm not boxing ego, ladies and gentlemen. Stop saying that. I'm not boxing ego. No. Yeah, I just put on glasses. That's all. I got beard, I got hair. It's just a shape. So I'm not boxing ego. So don't call me boxing. I'm not boxing ego. Boxing ego does his thing. He's cool. I'm me. All right. So y'all calling me all kinds of names. Some of y'all calling me Bill Haney. Some of y'all calling me Boxing Eagle. I'm just a normal guy, man. I just decided to wear shades. Yeah. Anyways, so you know, Ryan has a lot of, in my opinion, mental challenges he's going to have to face. Because he doesn't have the experience at that level, conquering that level, and two, he's got another problem. His problem is mentally he has to be able to push through when he feels like quitting because he put into his mind quitting. So he's going to have another opportunity, and there's going to come a time in the fight where he has to decide if he's going through to the finish line. But Devin, Devin prepping for. He's going to have to decide if he's ready to take the punishment and go to the finish line and finish the fight. Because if he finishes the fight, nobody can say he's a quitter. He's gonna do his thing. Don't get me wrong. Ryan gonna do his thing. He might hurt Devin Haney. Anything could happen. Right? He hurt Tank. He hurt Tank early, so he might hurt Devin Haney as well. But the thing about it is, it's a 12-round fight. It ain't a 1 round, 2 round, 3 round fight. You know. So down the stretch, we're gonna find out what really Ryan is made of. That's what we're gonna find. You know. So that's how I look at this fight. But I'm very excited for it still because I want to see how Devin uh, maneuvers around the challenges that Ryan brings. And Ryan brings some very good challenges to the table with his attributes. And I don't underrate his boxing IQ either. I think he has good boxing IQ. I just think that because of his lack of experience and the fact that they kind of feed him forward, so he should have been moving at regular pace. He should have faced Devin Haney a long time ago, running lose a draw. Also wouldn't have been as lucrative as it is now. But he should have faced Devin a long time ago, and then be able to build himself from there, even if he took a loss, build himself from there. But he's facing Devin now, so we'll see what happens with that. Here's what it is. A couple other things I saw out there. So Devin, Ryan's, he's throwing verbal jabs at Devin all the time, and some of this stuff is hilarious. What he's saying. Uh, But by and large, I think that you're going to see a very entertaining fight. You know, between Ryan and Devin Haney. So those guys, they know each other somewhat well. So they're gonna rumble, and I'm looking forward to that rumble. You know, uh, I don't know what the undercard looks like. Do you guys know what the undercard is? Hey, we don't care about the undercard. We're going in there to see these two rumble, so it doesn't matter. Um, Demo Gaming says I have Devil will run by decision easy. Yeah, I don't know if it'll go to decision though. I think them guys can put it on the line. Somebody gonna get knocked out. I mean, it's possible Devin could get knocked out too. I mean, it's not impossible. Ryan got the power to do it. It's just, I think it's highly improbable. But they're gonna rumble. Devin gonna come straight for Ryan. Ryan gonna come straight for Devin. I think that's what's gonna happen. Devin may box off the back foot a little bit here or there, but I think they're going to rumble. I think that fight's gonna be a rumble. And Devin has been delivering exciting fights of late. I'm not gonna lie. And some spectacular performances as well. So his most recent spectacular performance, which is Strawberry. RJ Jenkins says Devin will most likely outpoint Ryan. Ryan definitely has punches. You think he's going to just outpoint Ryan? Outpoint Ryan? I don't think so. Man. I think he's going to stop Ryan. I'm telling you, Ryan go. Let me tell you why. The only way Ryan's not going to get stopped is if he doesn't quit. And I have a feeling Ryan's going to quit. I think he's going to quit. I really do. I think he's going to quit in this fight. I don't think he's going to quit early like he did against Tank, but he's going to quit in this fight. When Devin Haney's, the momentum and everything's changing Devin Haney's favor, and he can't get his left hook in, and he can't get his right hand in, taking punishment, the fight started to get lopsided, he going to quit. He going to look for a way out, and he's going to quit. That's what I think going to happen. And Devin Haney's going to put on, I think, in the beginning, it's going to be back and forth. Ryan might even hurt Devin, I think. But I think as we move down the stretch, once we start moving north of around 6, 7, 8, 9, and Devin starts to dominate and really start to put a beat down on Ryan, he gonna quit. He gonna quit. I don't see Devin knocking out Ryan with a shot. I don't see that. But I see him whooping his ass. He starts to put a beat down on Ryan. Ryan starts to physically get beat down. And that's when we don't know if Ryan is going to stay to the end and fight to the end, or if he's going to fold and quit. That's what I'm interested in. Ryan really doesn't have it in his heart to fight. Ryan's only fighting for the money. I don't. I think he's a fighter. I think he's a fighter. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a fighter. Uh, you know, I think he's a very good fighter. Don't get me wrong. I just think that he knows that right now he bit off more than he could chew. He knows, like in deep down inside of him, he knows this guy that he's facing here is too much for him like at this point in time. Maybe down the road when he fights at super, if they ever fight again at super welterweight, Ryan will have enough experience and so on to make it a lot closer, and with the skill set that he has. But as of now, it's too much. I mean, Devin Haney's too much for Ryan, in my opinion. I think it just brings too many things to the table, too many tools, and you got defense and everything, and it's going to be a problem. Ryan's going to try his best. Derek James is a good man. He gives good instruction in the corner. I just don't think Ryan's going to be able to execute everything that Derek James said because his mind is going to keep him from doing that because of what Devin's going to do to him mentally. You know, Ryan, Jamie Morris. I don't think because Haney doesn't have pop in. Nah, Haney have pop in his hands, bro. He got pop. He got pop. You gotta have pop to put down Regis Prograis. Regis Prograis has not been dropped by anybody except for the guy he recently faced, who was a 78% knockout artist. So now Devin Haney can punch. Yeah, I always knew he could punch. The problem with Devin Haney was always he was trying to force the issue. He's trying too hard to knock out people. That's how he damaged his rotator cuff in his right hand. He had knocked down Santiago, Javier Santiago, knocked him down in I think the second round, and then he just got right hand happy, and Santiago was just landing punches on him, and I mean, literally ripped his kick rotator cuff out of his arm. He ripped his arm. He ripped up his face. Devin Haney tried too hard for the knockout. You know, I remember Devin Haney punched a guy and broke his eye out. But Devin Haney can punch. Anybody telling me Devin Haney can't punch, they delusional. He can't punch. It's not that. Sometimes he don't sit down on certain shots. Other times he does sit down on shots. The shots to the body more he sit down on. The shots to the head, he can just touch you with the shot instead. But Devin Haney got popped. Oh yeah, he got popped. We saw him knock clean. Like the dude was knocked out clean. Antonio Moran knocked his senses from him. Oh, Devin Haney can punch. So anybody saying that Devin Haney can't punch, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. He don't have a big knockout ratio. He can punch. And there's a difference between being able to punch and knocking out people. Knocking out people is an art. And there's a reason why Clarissa don't knock out people. So there's a reason why Canelo at certain times don't knock out, get people out the ring. It's that timing. It's your timing. See, knockouts, even if you set up a guy, you can't rush the shot. And a lot of these guys don't, they rush their shots. And another thing about it is, when you look at Terrence Crawford, he whipped his shots. He looped his shots. And a looping shot, you know, you saw you saw a Pitbull looping his shots as well. You throw a lot of hooks. You get more momentum, you get more power or leverage off your shots when you can really whip the shots instead of just throw them. You know, it's not about how fast it lands, it's about the action, the technique, and when it's about timing. Yeah. But like I said before, this is still going to be an exciting fight. Um, so the money making fight, this is a fight I thought was going to make a lot of money. So far, they're still selling tickets. Um, I'm sure by middle of fight week, all the tickets will be sold out because people are coming to fight week this week here. There'll be a lot of interviews, a lot of buzz concerning this fight. This is a big fight. This is not no small fight. We've heard about this fight for a while. It's going to be a big fight. Ryan Garcia, um, Ryan Garcia is a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. He's just experienced. He don't have enough experience out there, you know. And he has to tighten up his defense. And definitely his defense is pretty tough. So it's those two things Ryan has to work on. You know what I mean? All right, man. What you need? If there's any other topics you guys want to talk about, I know the 140-pound division is very hot. I, I was looking at Terrence Bud Crawford possibly facing Jerome B. Tennis. So Jerome B. Tennis has moved to not in the zone. But what I'm looking at is, you got fights now on the zone. Hey, by the way, Liam Powell, man. Liam Powell came out and spoke on the issue of Super Mateus. You know, Liam Powell. So shout out to Liam Powell on that. I saw him on Fight Hype. I saw George Kambosos talking about the prediction of Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia. And again, I think that Devin Haney is not somebody to sleep on. You don't want to be promoting the fight so much that you're not focused on what you need to do. So hopefully Ryan can stay, focused enough. But I don't see that from him so far. But he has to prove me wrong. And he may prove me wrong, you never know. With respect to, I've seen out there Canelo saying he just never wants to face David Benavidez. Boxers tune change over time, but yeah, he looks like he don't want to face Benavidez, so it's a duck. But I would say this about one more thing before I get off of here. I would say that in terms of all the fighters I've seen out there, um, I still believe Canelo could pull it off and beat David Benavidez. But I don't think he would do it not with that mental mindset that he doesn't want to face. You know? So a lot of people get beaten by their minds, and boxing's a mental sport. You know what I mean? It's a mental sport. Anyway, that's what I got for you guys on what you need. I thank you guys for coming out this stream. You can also donate by PayPal. The link is in the chat section. I'm trying to put it also in the comment section whenever I can. Uh, I know we're having people jump on this stream and talk with me. Otherwise, I would invite people to come on the stream. But until then, I just want to thank Jimmy Morales, Demo Gaming, RJ Jenkins, uh, 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 and Diesel coming through and contributing in the comments. The rest of you guys who are watching this, I'm watching you. You're watching my channel. I hope you guys had a blessed day. Have a blessed day. Uh, this afternoon's gonna have some fights in the zone. I don't know if I'm interested in those fights, but next week it's gonna be bumping. So I'm gonna see you guys later. If you guys are betting and you have to do bets on who will win the fight, I'm sure you guys will pick Devin Haney. By which process, if you can hedge your bet and put by knockout, or should I say technical knockout, do that because a lot of people don't believe Devin Haney gets knockouts in these fights. This might be one of those fights where he does do that, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm watching me. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.